You're listening to PatchBay on tymkrs.
Welcome to PatchBay, a conversational podcast all about audio equipment, music, audio engineering, recording, live sound, and whatever else we're talking about.
DIY projects.
DIY again, Shane?
All your DIY projects and my pipe dreams of DIY projects.
You seem to enjoy drooling over my DIY projects.
I enjoy it. It's much more exciting than me burning my fingers on a soldering gun. Just listen to you do it, and yours will work.
I do not burn my fingers. I'm sorry. Cannot do that for you.
No? Okay. Well, I do. Every time I've ever attempted it, I usually burn myself. But right. So I was checking out the Philco you bought, and I'm ridiculously excited to actually watch the tymkrs DIYing of that situation. So
yeah, that should be really pretty when it's done. And absolutely perfect for that style of guitar too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it goes right with the Dano that you got and the cigar box guitars. So we're gonna kind of talk about that anyway. But
oh yeah, we didn't have time last week.
Yeah, what is a cigar box guitar? Just in case some people other than me don't know what it is.
Oh yeah, sure. So there's a lot of folks out there who are into the sort of handmade, homemade, I don't know, you could call it primitive instruments, traditional instruments.
Yeah.
And a lot of poor folks back in the day, and they was poor because their land got taken and whatnot, not because they had to spend all their money on a freaking ATEM. Different reasons for being poor then, I guess.
Right, yeah, exactly.
But they couldn't afford to buy, a brand new acoustic guitar from the Montgomery Ward catalog or whatever.
Oh, yeah, Stella. Montgomery Ward must have been like the HBC down south, I guess.
Something like that.
Yeah, because the Bay has, they up here they have, the Wish Book catalog. Although they don't go out as much as they used to. And apparently my granny told me that they also use them for toilet paper eventually, too.
Yeah. I've got some phone books that got dropped off today that I should donate to your granny.
Yeah, exactly. My boss keeps those damn things. I don't know why. He's always like, look up a phone number, and he's like, in the yellow page. I'm like, really? Google. Done. Oh my God, was that hard? Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, so back to the cigar box. So you've made a few.
Oh yeah, I've got a bunch of them. So basically, what you do is you take a cheap piece of poplar and use that for the neck. You could get fancy with it, but if you get fancy with it, you're sort of missing the point. And an old cigar box from your local tobacco dealer or whatever. You can get them online too if you want to super overpay, but walk into your local tobacconist and ask him if he's got any extras laying in the back, and first 3 or 4 he'll probably just give them to you.
Yeah, exactly, especially if you're just gonna toss them anyway, right?
So these are very what we would call primitive instruments. They typically have a lower amount of strings. They typically are not designed to play classical music on. They're foot stomping, backs, porch, swamp music sort of stuff.
Right. Fair enough.
And if you know how to hook them up with a electric pickup or something, then you're really getting into something.
You're happening. So you'll just grab obviously grab a single coil pickup if you can find one and do that. Are all yours electrified or no?
What I do on mine is an underbridge piezoelectric pickup on the ones that I've built so far, and that's worked pretty well. I've got a slight issue with the impedance on those because they're basically infinite impedance. They don't necessarily work well with everything. They're a little bit different than a single coil pickup in how they behave with equipment. If you hook it up to something that can't handle high impedance, then you're only gonna get the highest frequencies coming through. All of the low end is gonna get lost.
Right. That's weird.
sound like shattering glass, basically, if your ears are tuned to making things sound good. It's just a terrible noise. Now, for my new guitar project, I'm going to be going with a hand wound single coil that's designed for 3 strings.
Oh, okay. Oh, that makes sense.
So there's a guy there's a guy out there who is well known for doing a really good job. I think his name is Harrison. I'll have to look that up. But he basically winds them super hot, right? They're wound way hotter than what you'd ever use in a 6-string. And they're a lot narrower because they're designed to sit underneath 3 strings. The magnet pulls are spaced, for a 3-string guitar. They're not something you can buy at Guitar Center.
Yeah. So he clearly builds them himself.
Yeah, and you should see the machine that this guy uses to wind his coils. He took the radiator off of a 1920 Ford and stuck it to the side of a steam chest and just built all this steampunk clockwork craziness out of this thing. And the device holds the little bobbin and spins it and holds the coil of magnet wire and winds it up.
So he doesn't hand wind them himself then?
Well, you got to hand crank this thing. I'm assuming it might have a motor in it at this point. Maybe he upgraded. I don't.
Yeah, it depends on how many 3 pole piece pickups that he's selling. Now, are they staggered or are they all flat?
He's got a couple of different ways that he does it, but the one that I'm going to use has a nice bar across the top, nice thin bar.
Oh, cool. Yeah, okay.
So it's it's wood, and it's got a sort of deco feel to it, and it's flat. It's designed to just sort of fit in a hole and bolt on, and it's got a nice silver-looking straight piece of metal going right through the middle of it instead of the individual poles.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that kind of reminds me of I put hot rails in my guitar, so they're 2, but you got the straight line rather than the individuals. I put a Strat pickup in my Telly that has flat pole pieces. Not a fan on that one. It works well on a Telly, but it's not the same squawk that you get out of staggered pole pieces. The way they do, they used to put them in what was called a bullet Strat, which were like the El Cheapo 1970 Strats. Anyway, I don't know. Obviously, it does make a difference having them staggered, but I don't know why they would offer both versions. I don't know. I guess they thought
there's been a lot of interesting decisions made with guitar pickups over the years. I own one of the more interesting ones, the Dan Electro lipstick pickup.
Yeah.
The soap bar pickups are cool too. I like the look of those.
The soap bars, yeah, I like the soap bars, and PAFs as well, which are similar to that. They're like the original Les Pauls didn't have humbuckers in them; they had PAFs in them, and they were single coil type, like soap bar kind of a pickup. It's a little different, but apparently they're ridiculously warm as well. I don't know. I've never played that old of a Les Paul. I probably wouldn't be able to walk into a room with something that old. But they do have them. They make reissues of them, obviously.
The Dan Electro lipstick pickups came about because they got a deal on a bunch of lipstick covers. And they used them as cases for their pickups, which is just hilarious and sounds like something I would do.
Yeah, exactly. And, well, speaking to that too, I've seen Strats with it kind of a neat mod, but they're actual. You can buy them Strats with 3 lipstick tube pickups with the 5-way switch and the whole night, and it actually looks pretty. Like they're not the Telly pickups. I've seen those too, but the lipstick ones look pretty badass actually. Like it's a total different look than what.
And they're very simple single coil pickups, so they've got a lot of. They have a very unique character to the way that they sound too. If you're doing something like rhythm for jazz, something like that, they would be absolutely perfect for that.
Yeah, exactly. And then with the added tone switch on the Strat, I'm sure you could pull up some really, really oddball sounds out of it,
Mm-hmm.
I've also seen too once a telly that was wired with a 5-way switch with 3 telly pickups, like the neck pickup, 3 of those though, which was really weird. But I guess somebody's gonna buy it, right? So and it's such an oddball kind of a thing. But anyway,
if it sounds the way that you like it to sound, then by all means, mix and match. I don't care.
I always liked the idea of having. That's why I like the Nashville that I built, because it has pretty much all kinds of weirdness in it. There's not typical sounds all the time. So, and there's still some other possible cockamamie plans I have for that. But
now,
anyway,
you want to hear about cockamamie plans?
Yes, good segue. I was just gonna get back to it. Okay,
I've done this once or twice, Shane.
Yes, I know.
So I built a lot of cigar box guitars, and I wanted to do something a little bit different for my own personal guitar, and I wanted something that would go very well with the Philco we talked about last week. So if you guys haven't heard the Philco conversation, go back and listen to the Philco conversation.
You know what? You could just pause it. We'll stop talking, and then come back and then keep listening to this one.
For sure. So, welcome back, everyone.
Thank you for re-listening to the Philco podcast.
Yes.
And now on to the...
All right, so 1936 Philco radio with a field coil speaker in it and a very simple tube amp. Okay, that's the amplifier for this project. This is the guitar that's going with it, all right? So, what I picked up is an Omar cigarettes tin that's as big as a cigar box, right? From the mid-20s.
Oh, really?
And it is patinaed and scratched up and absolutely beautiful in that things that are old that have managed to survive for 100 years kind of way.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the body of this guitar.
Okay.
Yeah. The neck
I like it already.
The neck will be a simple piece of poplar, the style that I build these guitars. It's a little bit different than what you'll see out there online. A lot of them have the through neck that comes all the way out the bottom. I don't do that. I actually build braces and proper acoustics and all that. Basically, the bridge sits on the metal of the tin,
which is cool anyway.
It's a resonator, right?
That's exactly it. It's becoming a resonator that way.
All right, and then it's got that very, very hot 3-string single coil pickup, probably in the neck position, right at the bottom of the neck.
Yeah, I think that would probably be the best spot.
Yeah, probably. And just 3 strings of all-out balls to the walls. Let's feed the tube amp something it'll really enjoy.
And so, are you tuning it EAD then, or what are you doing?
Everybody tunes their 3 strings to their own taste.
Yeah.
I play the guitars that I design have a 23-inch scale.
Okay.
So if you take, say, the 6th string, the 4th string, and the 2nd string off of an acoustic guitar set, and you throw those on a 23-inch scale, the tension on them is right if you tune it to an open chord of around F sharp or so.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So you can dial in the intonation and string tension and all of that by picking a spot up and down the keyboard that you want to set your open chord to. So now when you go to play with somebody else, that might get a little bit tricky because not everybody can play an F sharp minor. Whatever. Find better people to play with.
Exactly. Half the 50s stuff was written around the F sharp minor chord anyway, so
yeah, it's very, if you know guys who can play that kind of thing, then you're lucky because most people can only play, the F, G, C, A minor chords, and that's it. And probably only the power chord versions of them.
I only play the power chord version of B because I hate playing regular.
Bar chords are a pain.
Yeah, no, well, but even the non-bar chorded version where you move an A down 2 and then you got to put one finger on the 2nd fret on the high E string is just retarded. I've never been able to play a B like that. I'd rather play a B minor actually, or B minor 7th. It's anyway.
So a lot of keyboard players, they tend to stick to certain keys because playing the walking bass lines that go with this kind of music is a lot easier in some keys than it is in others, and F sharp is not a very friendly key to those guys. So you'll get some people who complain about it, guitarists and keyboard players. But, you can always tune up half a step from F sharp and be happy with everybody. The problem becomes that your string tension is too high for 23 inches. So, yeah, you might want to just pick a different scale length for a guitar that you're building. I don't know. I'm getting into the esoteric, strange weirdness of building your own instruments. It's kind of choices like that matter when you build your own instrument, how long the scale is going to be.
Well, yeah, exactly. I was going to actually ask, those mandolin capos, will they fit on that neck?
I don't know. I don't use a capo. If you did use a capo, you'd probably mess up all sorts of intonations. These things are not. They're
not built
it's not. It's not like a factory-built instrument. It's you have to be a little bit careful with them. It's all glue holding it together, and if you put too much tension on there,
yeah, that's kind of scary.
So you want it to be set right. And I've built a lot of these guitars, and a lot of them have been sitting around and been played here for years, and haven't had too many problems with the glue coming loose on them.
Well, that's interesting. So, is that the gist of the cigar box project?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna have the electric pickup, the tin box from the 20s as the body, poplar neck as I usually use on my guitars, and I'll probably be dyeing the neck black.
Oh, okay. What do you use
and
to
then
dye it?
Chrome tuners and probably a more silver chrome type of string rather than bronze colored strings.
On the tuners, are you using like regular guitar tuners?
Yeah, I've got because I build so many of these, I buy tuners in bulk.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I got some nice heavy chrome tuners. They're very plain, what you'd expect to see on an acoustic Alvarez or Epiphone or something like that.
Yeah, I just sold 6 from the telly I had for $10 like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I've got a full set from a Dan Electro reissue from the early '90s. If anyone wants them, it's only $10,000.
Yeah. So what did you do? Did you switch them out on the Dan Electro then?
Yeah, I take off all the original hardware and package it away and put on stuff that I can beat on.
Right. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, the pick guard too is put away. I fabricated my own pick guard for the U1.
Really? The telly I put on better tuning heads because the ones that it came with I don't think were actually made out of metal because they started bending on me.
Yeah, the Dan Electro ones, the reissues are not so good, so I replaced them with ones that functionally work better.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened on mine too. So I have to. We neglected to ground that guitar when we did the mod on it in the first place. So I need to take it apart, drill a hole in it, and then where the on the telly bridge, I need to solder the ground to the back of the bridge, which I just found out lately.
So when you touch the cover for it, does it do the popping thing?
Not right now, no, but it probably will after I'm done with it, but it'll be less noisy, so, come see, come saw, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know any other way to ground it. There's no other metal in the darn thing, so.
Yeah.
It's not string through the body. It's a, whatchamacallit bridge, hardtail bridge, which never buy a hardtail bridge unless, well, they're a huge pain in the butt for me. String through the body is way smarter. and way easier to switch over as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, off topic.
Not really.
Not off
I
topic.
mean, building
On
guitars
top.
is building guitars.
This is true. Yeah. Well, I got all the plans sort of kind of off the net to make the Nashville. The good thing was it had already been slightly routed before because I had a guy put a Gibson humbucker in the bridge or neck and had the telly pickup in the bridge, but that I didn't like the sound of. The combination of the sound sounded like hell. One pickup was nice and the other pickup was nice, but they didn't work together at all.
Oh.
You have one set of amp settings for one pickup and one set of amp settings for the other pickup. So it's like, this isn't smart, so that's why we Nashvilled it, which was good. Thank God for Mighty Might. They're if you can find them on eBay, they sell decent pickups and parts for not ridiculous amounts of money. So loving them guys.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the one part I need to buy for that guitar is the pickup, and dude makes them by hand, so you can imagine what the price is.
Well, I've been looking at just even the regular parts on there, and I'm considering building a backup Strat for the Strats that I have. So, and just looking at the parts, because I put the hot rails in my Strat, and so I just get another set of those, and I have basically, a backup of the same guitar. Plus, the guitar I put it in, Lucky, is getting old already, so I don't like taking it out that much if I can, But yeah, so I might do that yet. That's down the road in the next couple months, maybe.
You know what I need to do, Shane?
Hmm.
For my little tube amp that's going in that Philco,
yeah.
I need to pick up a 12-volt power inverter so we can hook it directly up to Model Ts.
Yes. Yeah. Just have that pre-set up. Did that actually air? Yeah.
I don't know if it's aired yet, but yeah.
Right. And yeah, just have it pre-ready to go so that you can just plug in and go, like basically have some kind of jack thing set up on the inverter.
Yeah, it wouldn't be too hard to set it up so that I could plug into accessory outlet or something.
Yeah, the question is where we find a Model T.
Well, I already put the offer out there.
This is true.
Anyone who has a Model T can join my band. You don't have to play anything, but the truck's got to come, It's required.
We'll give you a piece of grass or wheat to stick in your teeth.
And can be the driver. Maybe the roadie, but the Philco's not that big, so we should be okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, actually, Addie's really, really into the 1937, 38, 39 pickup trucks. So hopefully one day we'll have one, and that little Philco should look very nice sitting on the bed of that thing.
You guys
we'll do a bit of busking. I need to make sure I build in a way to hook up a green bullet mic into that amp at the same time as the cigar box guitar.
You know what else I would do too, just as for the sake of argument? Put a tuner in it.
A tuner?
Yeah.
For what?
I have to tune your guitar.
Well, I got tuner. I don't need to build it into my amp.
Why not? It'd be cool. Just put it on the back end or
something.
You
pedals guys and your tuners and silliness. Yeah. Just tune it up. When you play with a fiddle tuner, it's with a fiddle player, it's not like she can plug into a tuner. You kind of need to have one that has a mic on it.
That's true. That is true. Hey, question: does she like playing in B flat or does she hate it?
I don't know that she's really. She plays in whatever I tune her violin to, and then she knows several keys relative to that. So, like yesterday, we were playing Summertime in Gershwin because we found the sheet music for it sitting in one of the organ benches here at the house, and she was like, "Summertime, I want to play this," and she was playing it in some key, but I had tuned her violin to F sharp, so whatever.
Hey, it works, right? No, I was just curious because I from my experience with fiddle players,
they don't like playing in B flat.
They do not like playing in B flat. No, well, at least with an ensemble, anyway.
I think she mostly sticks to like C major, A
Yeah,
minor.
straight up ones.
Yeah, those are easy, and then like G, you know. But I wouldn't know. I'm not a fiddle player.
Right. Fair enough. Fair enough. And this is totally off tangent. Does she ever do the plucking thing too, or is it always just
Yeah,
bowing?
sometimes we've
Yeah.
done it in a few songs. If you go through our SoundCloud, you'll hear her
I,
doing the plucking and also some strumming too.
I love both of those effects. Absolutely love both of those effects on fiddle tunes, especially when you use it sparingly. I mean, you can do it full out, but there's a few pieces that I've recorded where, like the verse part of the song will be plucked, like the second time around. So it'd be like if you have a two-part polka, it's like part A is bowing, part B is bowing. Then they go back to part A and they pluck the melody,
Hmm.
and then kind of stuff like that. So yeah, it's kind of neat when they do it. And I've had a few guys do chords as well. I know a guy who hooked up his fiddle to wah-wah pedals, distortion pedals, phasers, flangers,
Yeah,
all that
the
kind of fun
the
stuff.
fiddle that I built for her from scratch is designed to be hooked up electrically like that. Yeah, so I don't know. We might get into a little bit of that someday.
Yeah, don't ever buy one of those plastic fiddles, like the electric plastic fiddle things. Do you have one of those?
No.
Oh God, they're horrible. They have no emotion at all to them. They're just plastic with strings on them. Like I can understand the point of it, but a DI fiddle just does never sounds good. No matter if you run it through one of those LR bags, uh, you know, cute little preampy things and stuff like that. But like if it's a natural fiddle with a mic on it, that's one thing. But if it's one of these, I'll find a picture and post it on the show notes because they're
I
yeah.
saw a really cool I don't know, maybe it was Czech or Latvian or Estonian, somewhere around there. A Bakelite fiddle from way back, probably
Weird.
40s vintage, and it looked completely unplayable. But man, I just looking at it, I wanna hear what that sounds like, just so I know.
Yeah, exactly. Just yeah, Bakelite, eh? That's weird.
Yeah. So the violin that I built for her is I took a violin, normal violin that hadn't been finished or anything. They call it in the white, and I took the top off of it and fabricated a new top out of copper-clad PCB material. So it's literally a sheet of copper over a sheet of fiberglass, and cut that to the shape of a violin top, put a bass bar under it, and a treble post to link it to the back. And yeah, that's
And it works.
got an electric piezo pickup in it.
I'm shaking my head, going, really? I'm amazed you pulled it off. I actually watched the video. There's video on Toy Makers on YouTube of you building it, I believe, right?
There's a couple of videos, yeah. The
Yeah.
original building and the more recent modifications I've done to it. It's actually quite a nice instrument. It still needs work in terms of getting it to sound the way that it should, but I replaced the neck with a very custom, very cool neck. It's all carved. It's got a big dragon's head on it. I did copper leaf on the details of the carving on the dragon.
Bad ass.
The pegs are actually bone pegs, carved bone.
Real.
Bunch of very, specific cool stuff that I've done to that for her. But
Yeah.
I really want it to sound better than it does. Bleh.
So what's the issue with it right now? Is it natural acoustically? Does it sound like hell?
It's too quiet acoustically. I think I need to add sound holes, but every time I go to add sound holes, she yells at me because she likes the way it looks.
Oh, fair
And
enough.
she doesn't want me to cut into the top. But I don't know. One of these days, I'm
Can you
just
cut
going to
it?
have to ignore her and cut it up.
I wonder if you can cut. I wonder if you can do it upside down. You know, that
Maybe.
might be different. Well, I don't know. There's probably a reason why there's holes on the top of the violin. Obviously, you couldn't do it on both sides of the violin because your neck and your chin and stuff would get in the way,
Yeah.
and your shoulder. But Yeah, that might be interesting.
I'll have to think on that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just because if she likes the top.
If I'm gonna cut anything, I'd rather cut the fiberglass than the wood, because
Well, yeah, that's
a lot easier.
Yeah, a lot easier not to cock it up. Well,
if I can make another one quite easily if I do mess it up, that's the sort of thing.
Right.
But I was very careful actually when I finished the copper, to not finish it in such a way that all of it would be protected, so that over time it would oxidize and turn green and different colors. How copper does over time. And it's been several years since I built it, so the top is starting to oxidize and get a very antique look.
That's cool though. That's what you wanted, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not as antique as that cool guitar that I'm working on, though. That is going to be amazing. I don't have to patina that one. Now, for those of you who don't know, that's hopefully going to be one of the principal instruments in our band, the Electric Kodama Band, and that's Eddie on fiddle and singing, me cigar box guitar, and our third is Kumiko, and they play upright bass. So
he plays upright bass.
Good combination. Yes.
Yeah, that's cool stuff. I like the idea, and some of the stuff that I've heard so far is sounding really good.
Yeah, and
how are we doing on time?
We're out of time.
Okay, yeah, that's all right.
We can play it in the back of that 1939 pickup truck, and it should go perfect. The acoustics in the back of a 39, I think, are about right for that kind of band.
Yeah, I think so. It's totally time period. You guys are born like 72 years too late, I think.
Something like that, but I don't think I'd want to grow up in the Great Depression. That would stink.
No, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Just emulate the fun parts of it, and not that there was a ton of fun parts, but emulate that part of it.
All right,
anyway,
folks,
cool.
I've got to get out of here and interview Mark at Microchip, one of the FAEs over there. I'm already late for it, so we're going to shut this down. Thank you all for listening this week. You can find this show every week at patchbay.tv. There's also an RSS feed there if you want to have it automatically downloaded to your phone, iTunes, whatever, without having to check it. All right, that's it for us. We'll see you guys next week.